Jesus is walking toward the town of Nain with his disciples and a growing crowd when another procession comes into view at the city gate. This one moves more slowly. It carries grief openly, without apology or resistance. A young man has died, and he is the only son of his mother. She is a widow, which means this loss is not only devastating, but dangerous. With her husband already gone, her future now feels closed, her security stripped away in a moment she did not choose. Two movements meet on the road, one filled with life and expectation, the other marked by finality and sorrow. When Jesus sees her, the text tells us he is moved with compassion, a deep stirring that does not look away or stay distant. He speaks to her directly, not with explanation or theology, but with presence, telling her not to weep as he steps toward what everyone else assumes cannot be changed. Jesus touches the bier and everything stops. The procession halts. The momentum of death is interrupted. In the quiet that follows, he speaks life with authority and tenderness, and the young man sits up and begins to speak. Jesus gives him back to his mother, restoring not only her son, but her future. What began as a public display of loss becomes a moment of awe as the people realize that God has come near, not in theory, but in power and compassion. Reflection. The widow of Nain is not searching for a miracle. She is not positioning herself for hope or trying to believe the right thing. She is walking a road that grief is already determined, carrying the kind of loss that changes how you imagine the future. Her life is narrowed, not because she lacked faith, but because loss has a way of quietly rewriting what feels possible. What changes everything in this story is not her readiness, but his compassion. Jesus interrupts a moment that felt finished. He steps into a loss that has already been accepted and speaks life where everyone else has learned to live with absence. The overflow here does not come from effort or expectation, but from being met precisely in the place where nothing was left to draw from. There are seasons when you stop fighting the depletion and simply learn how to function inside it. You adjust your pace, lower your expectations, and quietly assume that certain things are gone for good. Ease, security, joy, or the sense that life can still surprise you with goodness. This story gently disrupts that resignation. Overflow does not always arrive as abundance added on top of strength. Sometimes it comes as interruption, when Jesus stops what feels inevitable and restores what grief had slowly convinced you was no longer available.